Okay, in this video we're going to be representing single and double inequalities on a number line. Okay, so I've got our number line and the first question is x is greater than 2. So really, to answer these questions you just need to be happy with the notation of the inequality. So here we've got x is greater than 2. Okay, so how do we represent this on a number line? Well, when it's greater than or less than, so we've got no equal to part, we draw an open circle, like so. And then we need to draw an arrow. So we need to establish whether our arrow goes left or whether it goes to the right. So we've got x is greater than 2. What does that mean? All the numbers that are bigger than 2. So we would put our arrow in this direction, so like so. Of the inequality x is less than 4. So again, if there's no equal to part, we put an open circle like that, and it's the numbers which are less than 4. So the numbers that are less than 4 are the left hand side of the number line. So we put our arrow like that. We now have the inequality x is greater than or equal to 3. So when we had a greater than or a less than sign before, we just put an empty circle. If we have greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, we put a circle which is filled in. So the way that this was described to me was we used more ink to draw our inequality, so we use more ink on our circle like dots. Okay, so we find 3, which is there, we put our dot, and then we just need to establish which way the arrow goes. So it's x is greater than or equal to 3, so the numbers which are greater than or equal to 3, well, that's these numbers up here, so we put our arrow to the right. Have the question x is less than or equal to 5, so we use more ink to draw our inequality, so we use more ink on our number line, so that will be filled in above the 5, and it's x was less than or equal to 5. So what is less than? Well, it's the numbers that are less than 5, so all these numbers down here, so we draw our arrow in this direction to the left. At these 4 questions. So x is greater than or equal to minus 6. So what will the inequality look like on a number line? So x is greater than or equal to minus 6. Well, we've used more ink on the inequality, so we use more ink on the number line. So we fill that in like so. Okay, x is greater than or equal to minus 6. Well, where are the numbers greater than minus 6? To the right. Minus 5 is greater than minus 6, and obviously if we keep going, 5 is greater than minus 6. Okay, so that's I sorted. I'm just going to, in fact, I'm just going to get rid of that so we can do the rest of them. So j, x is greater than 0. Well, that's just a normal circle which isn't filled in. X is greater than 0. Well, that's the numbers to the right. So up there. So like that. So that's j sorted. Then k, x is less than minus 2. Well, that's going to be here. The numbers which are less than minus 2, that's to the left, all the numbers down here. So that's k sorted, so again I'll just get rid of it. And then L, x is greater than minus 1. So again, we haven't got an equal to part to the inequality, so it's a normal circle that isn't filled in, and x is greater than minus 1. That's all the numbers to the right, so our arrow goes to the right. So that's those 4 questions. In the first half of the video we looked at single inequalities. Now we're going to look at double inequalities. So we've got this inequality, So x lies between 3 and 5, but it doesn't include 3 and 5 because there's no equal to. So how do we draw this on a number line? Well, we put a circle above 3 and a circle above 5 because they're the numbers that we are dealing with. Are these circles filled in? No, because we haven't got the equal to part. And then all that's left for us to do is to join the two circles together, like so. So that's that inequality on a number line. Again, similar inequality, it's a double one. So x lies between 2 and 9, but doesn't include 2 and 9. So we put a circle above our 2, a circle above the 9. Are those circles filled in? No, because there's no equal to parts of the inequality. So all that's left for us to do with these questions is to connect the circles together, like so. Okay, here x lies between 2 and 6. So we put a circle above our 2, put a circle above our 6. Are the circles filled in? No, because there's no equal to part on either of our inequalities. So then we just connect our circles like so, and that's that inequality represented on a number line. So this is a different question now because one of our inequalities has an equal to part. So x here is between -2 and 3, but also including 3. Right, so the numbers that we're dealing with are -2 and 3. So we put a circle above -2, put a circle above 3. Now are any of the circles filled in? Well, the -2 circle isn't because there's no equal to part. However, the circle above 3 is because there is an equal to part here. So we fill this circle in. And then all we have to do is like what we've done before, is to join the two circles together. So that's that inequality on a number line. This inequality is similar to what we had before. However, the equal to inequality is now the left hand side inequality. So x here lies between -5 and 1, but also including -5. So the numbers that we put the circles above, as I'm sure you've probably guessed, is -5 and 1. Are either of the circles filled in? Well, there's an equal to part for this -5, so this is filled in. But there's not an equal to part for the 1, so that we leave that as it is. And then the last thing for us to do is to connect our dots together, like so. Inequality shown here, where x lies between -8 and -6, but also including -8 and -6. So I'm just going to have to extend my number line just a touch down here. Just very quickly do that. So that's -8 there, and that would be -7. -6, -7, -8, yep. Okay, so where do we put our circles? Well, the numbers that we're dealing with are -8 and -6. -8 is there, so we put a circle above -8, put a circle above -6. Now, are either of the circles filled in? Well, they are in fact both filled in. We've used more ink on our inequalities, so we use more ink on our circle, so they're filled in. And then we just connect the circles together. So that's that inequality drawn on a number line. So for the final part of the video, I just want to reverse the process. So we've got the number lines drawn, and now we have to write the inequality that satisfies it. Okay, so for A, of course, we've got x, and we've got 1, so we just need to find the inequality symbol. Well, what is this inequality? It's all the numbers that are bigger than 1, greater than 1, and not including 1. So it is that inequality. B, so again, always write your x, and then your number, which is in this case 3. And then what numbers do we have here? Well, it's all the numbers which are less than 3, and not including 3 because our circle isn't filled in. So like that. So C, again, write your x, write your number, which is 5. What do we have here? We've got all the numbers less than 5 because our arrow is pointing to the left, but including 5 because that circle is filled in. So that inequality is going to look like that with our equal to part. And then D, write your x, write your number. What do we have? All the numbers greater than 0, but including 0, because we've got our circle filled in. So that inequality is going to look like that. Final set of questions. So we're now going to reverse the process with double inequalities. So what did double inequalities look like? Well, it was x, then our inequality symbols and our numbers. So write your x, write the numbers that we have on the outside. So we've got 4 and we've got 1, and then we just need to decide on our inequalities. Well, they always point to the left. So the open part of the inequality, if you like, always points to the right. So it goes from left to right. Okay, will we have the equal to part for this? No, because the circles aren't filled in. B, so we do the same thing. Write x, write the numbers on the outside. So we've got 5 and 0. Again, the inequalities will always look like that. And do they have an equal to part? No, because the circles aren't filled in. C, so write x, write your numbers. So we've got 3 and 0. And then your inequality symbols, which will always look like that. In some ways, I think the double ones are easier, because you don't really have to think about which way the inequality sign is going. You just have to write it. Is either of the inequality symbols or both of them got an equal to part? Well, this one here will next to the 3, because there's more ink being used there. So we just write our equal to part there. So that's C sorted. And then D. So again, write your x, write your numbers on the outside. So 4 and minus 3. Inequalities go the same way. Just a quick point. Don't do what I've seen some people do, where you've got a situation like that. That isn't right. So make sure that the inequality signs go in the same way. And do either of the inequality signs have the equal to part? Well, they both do, because both of the circles there are filled in. So like so. So that is a video on drawing single and double inequalities on number lines. Thank you for watching.